Loaded the little.
Warning. Viewer listener discretion is advised. The majority of the content of this program is not factual. It is highly advised that it not be used for teaching your children from said content, other than making an example out of the hosts of what they should not grow up to be. Remember this. It's the beer talking.
Welcome to the truth about beer.
All the crap that we're interested in. Searching for the truth. Exploring the unexplained. Investigating the paranormal. Subscribe now.
Hit the alert
button so you don't miss an episode.
Ow!
Welcome to the truth about
beer.
and oh man. Hey, welcome everybody.
Hey, what's
Welcome
up?
to the big shoe.
Welcome to the shit show.
This is such it's just fully packed. It's fully stacked. I don't know how would I
We're gonna blow your mind tonight. We truly are. I believe we are.
and I'm gonna have to excuse Keith just for a second to upload our beer commercial because we can't start without talking about our beer.
No, the beer commercial's on there.
Oh,
the,
another one.
The other commercial's not on there.
The
episode commercial.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, no, I don't want to think that we spent a couple hours on a beer commercial today and it didn't get uploaded.
No, that's there. That's the beer commercial's
All
there,
right.
which is good.
Well, welcome everybody from wherever you're watching. I know we're streaming on several platforms tonight, and we're running so far behind that we didn't get set up for TikTok.
No, we did not. No.
So we're not on TikTok tonight.
Wow, we got Lyndon James, a new member.
See,
Yeah.
I knew Jack would show up even though he
Jenny A.
can't be here tonight.
Christine. Kathy.
Yeah, hello everybody.
Wow, it's the books. What's happening? I believe Chris is on too, Ghost Quad.
I did see Chris on there. Yes.
What's up, Chris? What's up, buddy? Julianne, trying to get to everybody. Allison.
Thanks
Denise.
for the water.
What's up? Amy, how's it going? Try to get through everybody. Make sure. Mama Cats, what's going on? All right. Arthur, Heavy Metal Beer Club.
Iron Fire Horse.
Great. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is it's an interesting topic, I think. And it's one that needs to be had. Especially with all the stuff going on in the world today. It's kind of strange.
It is a strange world. And I was hoping things would calm down a little, but they just got crazier.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But this is a topic that's always fascinating. Growing up Catholic.
Sure.
And, I'm the last person to say that I'm versed in the Bible, so I apologize for anybody that is. I mean, I have read the Bible, but it's just a fascinating topic. I mean, I've always been fascinated with Nostradamus, right? I'm thoroughly fascinated with him and his predictions. So this is going to be fun. This is going to be a good topic for us. But should we start on the beer?
We need to start on the beer. Yeah, I'm gonna get to my notes to be at the right spot here.
All right. So here's Joey and I did a little segment on the beer. So for your enjoyment, as usual. So here it is. Here's our beer for tonight.
Wow. So what beer do we have tonight there, Keith?
This is an interesting one because I've been really excited to try this one.
We never do interesting.
No, this is interesting. This is seriously interesting. So this is from Evil Twin Brewing out of New York. We've done one of their beers before. I can't remember what one we did, but
Evil Twin, that does sound familiar.
We did one a while ago. The good news about this one is it's only a 5%er.
Oh, so we can drink several of these.
We can, and we only have 4, but we can we can still partake.
Or 2 each.
But here's what's interesting about this. It is a smoked lager.
Ooh.
Right?
I haven't had a smoked lager that I
We've never had a smoked beer.
Well, that's true. I mean, we smoked whiskey once. And that was a lot of fun.
We did.
How did
So
we smoke a beer.
I don't know. So I'm definitely interested in diving into this one. So it doesn't really say what's in it though. It's a light and easy drinking lager with subtle accents of smoke, which is very interesting. And it's interesting because they're calling this an anti-IPA.
I guess it's because it's not an IPA.
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so.
Well, good, because I was afraid you were going to say the Antichrist. Now, wasn't that fun?
You're welcome.
Oh, how long have you been waiting to do that beer or this beer? It magically poured itself.
I know, right? Incredible.
It was
Incredible.
pretty amazing.
It smells delicious. Good Lord. You can smell the smoke. Really. You missed the first
Yeah,
thing
you
I
can.
smelled was the smoke. That's good. Good stuff. Well, let's try it.
All right.
Cheers, everybody. So let's try this fantastic beer I've been dying to try.
Oh, I like it.
That's very good.
Yeah. Smoky taste.
That's really good.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Wow.
So Evil Twin Brewing out of New York. Very cool. And it literally is called the anti-IPA. It says the anti-IPA is having a moment. So it truly is. So.
And no Antichrist popped out of the can when we opened it. It was a win-win.
That's awesome.
There isn't any citrus in it, Julianne. Really has no citrus. It's kind of, how would you explain it? Almost bacony, I guess.
Yeah, seriously, that's funny you said that because that's kind of what I'm smelling and tasting. Yeah, that's very
like smoked bacon.
Surprisingly, that's very good.
Wow,
that's really surprising. Yeah, that's good. That'll go down very smooth. Which is dangerous as always.
Wow.
So
I can get sidetracked drinking this beer.
I wish I would have bought some more of it. It does. It tastes like bacon. It's got that smoky bacon flavor.
How does it evil taste? How does evil taste there, Keith?
Whoa. We don't have our sound. Jack's stuck up north again this week, so he's in the audience participating, but yeah, no sound effects this week, so we have to make our own.
Amy's in, says it's bacon beer.
It really does taste like it. All right, so let's get to this. We really have a lot to uncover tonight.
We do, and so should we do a little chime in thing? So if you have an idea of who you think the Antichrist might be, you can put it in the comments, and
we'll pull it up. Let people
see. We've got some helpers tonight, actually. We don't have sound effects, but we have a couple guests, don't we?
Yes, we do. We have some guests.
And we'll let you know who those are when we're ready to use them.
Yes.
I didn't get to the part of my notes where I wanted to.
Uh-oh.
How many pages were these notes tonight?
13 pages.
Oh,
I don't know why the dog's barking, but the dog's barking. Only drink Guinness and Nuki Brown.
I'm not. Is that
we're
from
Swift.
Across the pond? Some Nuki Brown. I haven't had that.
I used to think it was my youngest son. So, I said I've always been fascinated by Nostradamus, and and we'll get into him a little bit later, but I always thought he was pretty spot on with his predictions. But did you find your paragraph that you wanted to do?
Well, I think this is a good spot for me to start. And that's just, what are the characteristics that we know of the Antichrist?
Right.
That's the part of the notes I pulled up.
Okay.
So we can start there. But we don't want to keep you in suspense too long, because once we get to the point. I think it's going to be a very long show.
once we get to that point, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you want me to take one and kind of alternate? Or
Sure.
How do you want to do this?
Yeah, we'll talk about. Well, let me pull it back up again.
So,
look at comments at the same time.
Yeah. So the first one is deceptiveness. The Antichrist is often portrayed as a master of deception, able to present falsehoods as truth. The ability to perform signs and wonders can convince people of its legitimacy. The aspect emphasizes the importance of discernment among believers, as the Antichrist can appear as a benevolent figure while actually promoting harmful ideologies.
Describes a lot of people today.
Yeah, it truly does. It truly does.
For that part of it, I think the field's wide open on who it could be.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's plenty of those out there that do nothing but deceive us. Yes, and Heavy Metal Beer Club, I'm not going to say it, but I'll put it up. Oh, Jenny, we need to meet your ex.
Wow, that rings a bell. Anyway,
all right. Well, I'll move on. So, and then it'll be a charismatic authority. So the Antichrist is expected to possess a charismatic personality that draws people in. This charm can create a sense of trust and loyalty, making it easier for individuals to embrace its message. Theologians often highlight how this charisma can lead to mass followings, as people are naturally inclined to gravitate towards strong, persuasive leaders.
And that's interesting. So there's been several leaders throughout our time that people probably would consider have been the Antichrist. I'm not going to mention who I thought, because it's not a political show, and I don't want to get political. But I had those thoughts about somebody who was, for that reason, he was very charismatic, right? He
came out of nowhere.
He came out of nowhere. Yeah. He can absolutely,
because I know who you're talking
pull
about.
a crowd, you know. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, definitely. I mean, and yeah, without getting political, but okay. False peace and solutions. The Antichrist may offer seemingly simple solutions to complex problems, promising peace and security in times of turmoil. The ability to provide comfort and reassurance can entice people to accept this rule, even if it compromises their values or faith. That's interesting.
Mrs. Doubtfire's the Antichrist. She was adorable, or she was adorable.
She.
I don't know. Chris doing his
Doubtfire impression. Yeah. Yes, that was freaking hilarious. I was dying.
Yeah, I don't know that. Have we experienced the false peace, or someone giving us a resolve to a turmoil?
Well, I know some people would think that the Catholic religion would be that, right? I mean, that's okay. I know that's some people's opinion. Mm-hmm. Whether I agree with it or not doesn't matter. You know, everybody's entitled to.
Well, I guess really, I mean,
any religion.
Yeah, all organized religion really kind of does promise that, but still, there's wars and unrest all over the world. But it's at least a place of solitude for those believers.
Yep.
And here's a big one that points to who the Antichrist was or is opposition to God's truth. The Antichrist actively works against the teachings of Christ and the principles of Christianity. This opposition can be subtle, incorporating elements of truth while distorting the core message. Theologians stress the importance of scriptural literacy to counteract this manipulation. So again, that turns back to religion for finding the answers. But then the Antichrist comes out of, religion.
It does. Yep.
But one thing's for sure, whether you're religious or not, and I'm not a religious person, but I know there's good in the world and I know there's evil in the world. So there's always going to be a polar opposite of one.
Well, it's a balance, right?
Yeah.
It's a balance in nature. I did forget we had a PowerPoint.
We did.
Should I bring that up too? I'll bring that up.
As long as it doesn't give away anything.
No,
Okay.
not yet. So I think we kind of talked about that a little bit. So a little more, biblical meaning is the Antichrist is described as the son of Satan. The Antichrist will deny the existence of heaven and hell. The Antichrist will be unexpected and difficult to identify, which is interesting. The Antichrist will be the embodiment of evil. The Antichrist will give great power to deceive people. Will have great power to deceive people. Sorry, couldn't read that very good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's tiny.
That is tiny.
It is tiny. And we're going to go back through Revelations.
Okay. So I'm
Later.
gonna close
Oh, no, we could do that now because we could revisit it
we can.
a little bit. There was a comment that got put up, and no, I'm not finding it. I was going to poke it up there. It had to do with beware of people that are always using the word peace or something like that.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Oh, dang it. Is it?
You never know.
All right. It's not there.
So do you want to talk about Revelations a little bit?
Well, I think Revelations is where we really brings out the Antichrist and things leading up to it. So starting with Revelations 13, 1 through 10 is what talks about the Antichrist. Describes Antichrist as a beast with 7 heads, 10 horns, and a blasphemous name. I need some more liquid. My teeth are sticking to my lips.
So Revelations 13, what is it, 3 to 4, it looks like?
Mm-hmm.
Describes the Antichrist as someone who will masquerade as the Son of God and receive worldwide worship, which is interesting.
So somebody that's professing to be the answer to the world's problems.
Yes.
Doesn't have to necessarily he's Jesus or anything. And then 5, just 13:5. Describes the Antichrist as someone who will deceive sinners and cause all people to worship him.
That's an interesting one. So 13:8 describes the Antichrist as someone who will cause people to worship him, except for those whose names are written in the book of life. That's interesting.
That is. Who is the keeper of the book of life? That's a
$1 million question.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And then Revelations 19:20 describes the Antichrist being captured along with a false prophet and both being cast into a lake of fire. So nobody we've seen yet.
That's in the end, right?
That's
supposed to happen. Yeah. Right.
But as far as what was the first part of that one? Well, I still want to turn to everybody out there. And if you have an idea, Taylor Swift could be. Please put, yeah, these are fun. Looking for a serious one.
So it was interesting because you were on a show with Chris yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. And very good show, by the way. But you guys, we started talking about this a little bit, and some of the names that were being put out were kind of interesting.
Yes, they were.
I thought it was kind of neat.
What do you want to go there with that one so we can actually get into it?
Yeah. I don't want to keep people on the edge of their seat for too long. We'll go back to Nostradamus a little bit later, but so name dropping Mr. Elon Musk as the Antichrist, which is interesting because I did a show on him wearing his little devil costume about a year and a half ago, so I thought that was interesting.
Bring up
But
the notes on that.
but I know you have more on that, Joey. So
Yeah, I know. I once I get to it, like I said, that was 13 pages.
That was 13
of notes
pages
here.
in.
My goodness. So, so the theory of Elon Musk as the Antichrist, and it came up on, well, it was on the after show yesterday when I was on with Chris and Lewis, and Lewis brought this up. Well, anyway, saying that Elon is the Antichrist is a provocative and controversial notion that intertwines religious symbolism, technological advancements, and societal change. Central to this theory are Musk's ambitious projects, particularly Starlink and Neuralink, which some interpret as tools for control, surveillance, and a potential new world order.
Interesting.
So, I mean, what about Starlink? So Starlink is
it's Musk satellite internet constellation. I like how they say that. Internet constellation aims to provide high-speed internet across undeserved and remote areas worldwide. While its initiative has the potential to bridge the digital divide, critics argue that it also establishes a framework for unprecedented surveillance and control over global communications. The extensive network of satellites could enable the collection of vast amounts of data, raising concerns about privacy and autonomy. But all right, so don't we have that now? I don't think we need Starlink to be concerned about our security, privacy, and autonomy.
Yeah, I think where it's going with that is it's going to areas that haven't had that available, so it makes it more global.
So interesting. I won't get in this. Never mind. I'll save this for another. I'll save that for another time because Jack will appreciate this. So I'd rather talk about it when Jack's here.
Okay,
but it's pretty funny that you mentioned that, though.
So let's go in biblical terms. The Antichrist is often associated with deception and manipulation, leading to a loss of individual freedoms. From this perspective, Starlink could be seen as a means for a singular entity to exert influence over global information or global information flow, shaping narratives and controlling access to knowledge. The idea that one person could wield such power is alarming to many, especially in a time when misinformation spreads rapidly. And we learned the difference between misinformation and disinformation.
Don't ask me what it was, but we did learn it.
Misinformation is intentional. Or no, it's the other way around.
It's the other way around.
Disinformation is intentional because that's what people put out there to confuse you, right? Misinformation is where it's just totally misunderstood.
So look, I get this. I get what they're saying there, right? But if you live in a remote area and Starlink's available, it doesn't mean you have to have it. It doesn't mean you have to take it. Nobody's forcing you to take it, right?
Right. No, you don't have to take it, but it's available where it wasn't available.
Right.
So probably more will want it than won't.
Probably,
to have that technology and things. Well, we'll get into that too here in just a little bit. But the other part of that is the Neuralink, which is the mind machine interface,
which is fascinating to me, and I know Jack's fascinated by this too. So Neuralink, Musk's venture into the brain-computer interfaces, presents an even more intense concern for skeptics. This technology aims to facilitate direct communication between the human brain and computers, with applications ranging from medical therapies to enhancing cognitive abilities. Sorry, I can't read very well. While the potential benefits are significant, the implications of merging human consciousness with technology evokes fears of loss of individuality and autonomy. Again, I mean, your opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, everything's a choice.
Right.
So I guess if, you know what, I was reading ahead.
Okay. There's always
maybe I missed your point.
There's always a fine line between playing God and not playing God, right? I mean, but you can think, I mean, you could see the potential for Neuralink, right? I mean, it could be incredible what can it do for people's lives. But at the same time, you get those people that say, well, should we play God to that respect? right?
Mhm.
If somebody has a debilitating disease and we could potentially cure them, if it's a neurological disease or something, we cure it with Neuralink. Should we really do that? The question is it ethically moral to do that? Or do we let them just waste away as a vegetable? I mean,
Yeah, true.
So,
I mean, in cases like that, it's like the blind seeing for the first time because of some technology that's helped them see or
and
hear.
it's happened.
Yeah, and
right?
that has happened.
We've heard
So,
stories. Yeah.
so yeah, so it's, I mean, there's good. And I think, I don't know where they're going with it, being that it could be bad, other than you could turn people into something they're totally not and change their complete goodness into whatever the machine's wanting them to be, you know, whatever the mainframe says.
And you don't think that's happening now?
Well, it is. Yeah. No, these are mind numbing and,
Yes.
you know, all that. But the neural thing makes me think of the Matrix, you know.
Yes, very much.
I know jujitsu or whatever he says.
Yeah.
Show me. And all of a sudden he does it because got implanted in his brain.
Yeah.
So, well, let's go into the cultural and religious context because we're really getting close to the reveal here, but we're not ready yet. The notion of the Antichrist has deep roots in Christianity, in Christian eschatology.
Very good.
Did I say it right?
Very good.
Often, and what does eschatology represent?
I don't know. It's at the beginning of our commercial.
Yeah, I have to go back to that. Often depicted as a charismatic figure who leads people astray in a new world order. Projects through this lens, interpreting his innovations as tools that could lead to loss of control over individual freedoms. Mm-hmm. But could it? Would he?
I don't know. That's a good question. So I kind of want to lead into the big reveal.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, let's see where you go. I know there's one little setup I wanted to.
Do you want to go first,
say,
so I don't spoil it?
Well, I don't know if it. Well, I mean, do I think Elon Musk is the Antichrist? No.
I thought you were going to say yes for a minute. You started shaking your head. You had me worried.
No.
I was like,
No. I it's like Elon Musk is kind of like Dr. Frankenstein, who creates his monster and then loses control of his monster.
Yes.
But the monster's the monster. He was the creator, but and I don't want to follow up the next part.
Right. Right. I know. I got you.
So go ahead.
So my question to the audience, I want to ask the audience this. Does the Bible, okay, anybody knows the Bible, they refer to the Antichrist as a figure, right? Do they refer to the Antichrist as a human being? Is it ever really mentioned that it's a person? Everything I read says it's a figure, right? Well, a figure back in those biblical times can be a very different meaning than what it is today for us.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for audience reaction.
All right.
Is it possible? Is it possible that the Antichrist is not really a person? That opens up a whole nother conversation, which we're going to get to.
And we're going to wait.
Yeah, I want to see. I really want to see some audience reaction. So,
too.
guys, comment seriously. Is there anything that makes you in your head believe that maybe is it possible the Antichrist could be something other than a human being?
Well, that's true right there too. How many times have
That's
you
true.
had it translated, and how many things have been lost in translation?
Right.
I think. Are you agreeing with us, Mama Cat, or with Keith? I should say he's the one that brought that point up. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person.
Or was it the translation part you were agreeing with?
And then Chris chimes in. And this is why I don't think Elon would be the Antichrist. Boy, they're coming in fast and furious.
How come I'm not getting them? You're getting all the comments. I'm not.
Elon was the first person I heard really warn against
AI.
the dangers of AI. And could that be the Antichrist?
I believe that's what we believe.
Well, let's go through it. Let's go back and revisit all the signs of what the Antichrist is and see if it fits that narrative. Because the more I got into it, the more I really believe it's a possibility. Especially, AI is its own thing. It's only there because of man, and well, yeah.
Great point, Christine. That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, 50 years ago, most people would believe that the Antichrist would be a person, right? But we've gone so far technologically now.
Just in the last year,
Right.
the AI has gotten so good that they say it's even going to be 10 times or 100 times what it is today in 6 months. And you look at the deception part. I mean, because of AI, today you can kind of pick out stuff that's maybe AI, because of some glitches and weird little sounds or whatever. But if it's 100 times better in 6 months, are we going to be able to discern reality from what AI produces? And we all kind of use it. Well, most people do. I'm not going to say everybody does, because I know some people refuse to have like in their homes.
She still heard that? It heard you. That's funny.
Alexa, do you believe in Jesus Christ?
People have their own views on religion.
That's the best answer you can give.
That's a pretty good answer, actually.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody has their own views, so she doesn't have a view. But anyway, that's from AI, and it's quick, very quick. I think we should play a clip from Allison Ivan.
I do too.
So there's an episode, if you've been following Allison Ivan on their channel, which is a little offshoot channel of ours. The whole episode will be uploaded tomorrow, and you really need to listen to this episode. It's about almost 20 minutes long, but
yeah,
we're just going to give you some clips from it today, because we really like the way they present it. And
so we'll start with this first clip, which I thought was kind of interesting. It's
do you
about
want to set this one up?
This talks about, well, this kind of asks the question, right? Is AI the Antichrist, or is it a tool? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we kind of have that decision. So let me play the clip and we'll talk about it after the clip.
Yeah. It's not about predicting the future or demonizing technology. It's about recognizing that we have agency, we have choices.
We have power.
We have the power to shape the trajectory of AI.
And that power comes from knowledge, from understanding, from being willing to ask tough questions and engage in meaningful dialogue. It comes from recognizing that technology is a reflection of ourselves, of our values, our aspirations, and even our fears.
So going back to that initial question, could AI be the Antichrist? Or is it a tool, an opportunity, maybe even a partner in building a better world?
Mm-hmm.
A good question.
Yeah. And you know what it makes me think of, just the last part of that, of the end of Back to the Future.
Okay.
When Marty's girlfriend, what was her name? Jennifer asks Dr. Brown, he says, because that was in the second one, because they came back from the future back to the present time. That's right. And Marty got fired, and she had the facts and all that said, you're fired and whatnot. But she asked Dr. Brown, says, hey, came back, this is all erased. And he says, well, of course, because your future is not yet set. We have control of what our future is going to be, but the only way we can control our future is through knowledge, make it smell
smarter.
We got to be smarter.
So I like this.
I'm frozen on this one.
Are you frozen on that one?
Well, I'm back to not being frozen. So we were probably frozen out there for a minute or two. Hopefully the audio didn't get frozen along with it.
I don't think so. All right, so let's play another clip from them, because this one was interesting though, and this really kind of deals directly with AI, right? Not so much about it being the Antichrist, but let me play this clip real quick.
Huge questions.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're seeing a foreshadowing of this with those AI chatbots like Alexa and Siri.
Oh, yeah, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're already integrated into so many people's lives, answering questions, setting reminders.
Doing it all.
And it's not hard to imagine a future where these AI assistants become even more sophisticated.
Oh, for sure.
To the point where people start relying on them for moral guidance, relationship advice, even spiritual comfort.
Whoa.
And that brings up some pretty big questions about what it even means to be human.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting concept.
It really is. Again, just thinking how fast the technology is. I say it's faster than we can think already. So I think the technology's already surpassed us because of the speed that you can use. People like what question would someone like me to ask Alexa right now? She didn't hear me. Hopefully you did.
And
I guess she won't talk if I just say, somebody put in a what would you like me to ask Alexa
one
right
of our
now?
guests, right?
Yeah. Somebody in the chat.
I want to bring up our PowerPoint again, though,
Okay.
because I think you put together a pretty good slide, and I think it's important, to kind of talk about this a little bit. And
I didn't even think about that one.
So you talk about the hierarchy, right? What was that question?
But the question that Jenny wants me to ask, Alexa, who is the Antichrist?
Wow, she just shut you up, huh?
Alexa, do you know who the Antichrist is?
In Christian eschatology, the Antichrist or Antichrist refers to people prophesied by the Bible to oppose Jesus Christ and substitute themselves in Christ's place before the second coming. The term Antichrist is found 5 times in the New Testament, solely in the first and second epistle of John. The Antichrist is announced as the one who denies the Father and the Son.
Alexa, do you know who the Antichrist is?
In Christian eschatology, the Antichrist or
Alexa,
Antichrist...
She won't answer that one.
Well, maybe we should ask our other guest.
All right. Let's do.
Hey, Siri, do you know who the Antichrist is?
In Christian eschatology,
Same
Antichrist refers to a kind of person prophesied by the Bible to oppose Jesus Christ and
Hey, Siri,
falsely substitute.
Stop.
They're reading from the same playbook.
Same playbook. Exactly. So and talked a little bit about it. And I agree with you after kind of putting this together. So, obviously AI has to be controlled by somebody, right? It's there's a puppet master behind this whole thing. So in your opinion, right, I'm thinking you're saying that kind of the deep state is over everything, right?
Yeah.
Overseeing everything. Under that falls big tech, and even we added big pharma in there, right? And we can kind of explain why. And then under all that, controlling all that is AI, which then if you want to expand that hierarchy further, we all fall under that AI, right? We're the
recipients.
We're the recipients, right? Exactly.
Yeah. And the other way I look at it, as the beast talking about, because the beast actually precedes, that comes before, right?
Precedes, yes.
Yes, the Antichrist. And I look at it this way. So think about the Wizard of Oz.
The man behind the curtain.
Who's that man behind the curtain? If let's say Wizard is AI, he was nothing without behind the curtain, pulling all the strings and telling it how to answer. Hello, Christine.
Interesting. So, Alexa, is the Antichrist already here on Earth?
I don't know that.
Interesting. I don't know if they would oust themselves, though, would they?
Probably not.
Hey, Alexa, do you know when the Antichrist will appear? No comment. Okay. Should we try that again?
All right.
Alexa, do you know when the Antichrist will appear? She answered that one. That's interesting.
Either she doesn't know or she knows.
She knows. Very interesting. So why Big Pharma?
Well, let's go back to the Bible. Let's see what it says about the beast and
the mark of the beast.
The mark of the beast, the description. Let's see. I got to pull back up. My brain's going crazy already. That was towards the end. Okay, here we go. Because I actually pulled up the actual scripture in here.
There's so many notes in here, folks. There's 12 pages of notes. Joey came very prepared tonight.
And I'm on overload, so I can't get any of it out. Oh, Lindsay, you told me about that earlier. I should we try that? See what happens? See if it's true. Yeah, you were busy. Gee.
Yelling at people.
Whatever it took. Alexa, open your third eye.
This might come as a chakra, but I don't have a pineal gland.
Wow. Are you supposed to ask a question right after that? Is that how that works?
Clearly did. It's actually a real thing. Actually, iguanas have it on the top of their head.
Yeah.
It's called the third eye, and they sense light. They sense. It's kind of interesting. Kind of sad that I know that fact, folks. Okay.
Galatians, okay, in chapter 13, verse 1, where it talks about standing on the sea, and they saw the beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon those horns 10 crowns. and upon his head the name of blasphemy. So I don't know about the blasphemy part, but I'm sure those are descriptions of something other than real horns and real
Right.
crowns. I
Right.
think it makes it a global thing, is what I read that to be. So the beast not only dwells in, one place, the beast is in the whole world, covering all the seas and all the lands and kingdoms and,
Yeah. I'm trying to get caught up to you. What page?
Oh, I don't know where I'm at now. I should have had the pages numbered, huh? So how would you relate AI to that? Or AI or the beast? And if we refer to the beast being the deep state, big tech, and big pharma.
Well, if you're saying on that first passage, if you're saying that it's essentially the heads and horns, that it's everywhere, right? You're saying that, well, that could be said for AI. It's pretty much worldwide now.
It is
right?
now.
I mean, it is everywhere. It's spread.
Yeah. And that's why they brought up Elon.
Yeah.
Because of Starlink. It really has virtually gone everywhere. You can access internet anywhere in the world.
There was one of these. I can't find it here. But one of these that I think ties into big pharma.
And in chapter 13.
I don't know if it was chapter 13. Let me go back to. I'm just gonna go back on our PowerPoint real quick because I think I may.
Oh well, maybe. Maybe is it in 12 where they talk about the deadly wound being healed?
No. So it says here. So it says. Let me read the whole thing. In the Bible, specifically in the book of Revelation, the mark of the beast refers to a symbolic mark associated with a powerful evil entity, often represented by the number 666, which is said to be a sign of allegiance to this entity and will prevent, now listen to this closely, will prevent individuals from participating in commerce unless they receive it. So kind of think about that in today's perspective, okay? It says it will prevent an individual from participating in commerce unless they receive it. Now, let's go back to some of the stuff we've heard in the news over the last couple of years. Again, I'm not going to get political, but I'm going to be factual, okay? We've seen all these people that are getting these implants under their skin, these tracking devices or whatever they're called, where you just walk up and scan it, these chip readers, right? People have barcodes. There's even been talk about doing away with driver's licenses and having that chip implanted to where they can scan it and you get all that information from the chip. Okay. To me, that is how I correlate that with technology today. If you don't have it, eventually, could they stop you from receiving commerce, from getting things, from having access to stuff?
Possibly, yeah.
If your physical driver's license goes away and the only way to identify yourself is through a chip in your arm, and people, rightfully so, skeptic about getting this thing, choose to hold on to their licenses and don't choose to get that chip, now all of a sudden you're not eligible because you didn't do it. Where do we see that recently?
Well, it was the piece of paper I got.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've gotten something.
So whether you believe it or not, or call it bullshit, it's there and it's happening.
Well, the interesting thing too, you bring that up, and I know we talked about it earlier, was the, UPC label, which is on anything you buy that's of real commerce. I don't know if it's on the can right there.
Yeah.
And talking about the speed of AI, how it can read things, because coming from Texas, we had our toll tags on our cars. They're mounted in the windshield.
In the windshield.
And you drive into that thing doing 70 miles an hour, and it's still catching that the UPC, reading
Yeah.
your
Oh,
car
yeah.
entered.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's so fast. So it's a very easy and economical way for them to keep track of people. So yeah, that could be.
So Revelation 18:23 foresees a global misuse of drugs to mislead all nations. People enrich themselves as they profit in this global deception.
There you go.
That's
That's it.
Yep. That is.
Oh, you boss out there for.
All right. I'm lagging behind here. I can't click on this other thing. Wow, that's interesting, Christine. They don't have physical driver's licenses now. Everything's digital.
Where's this at? Boy, they're coming in hot and furious.
I know. That's crazy. So, does anybody kind of see? Yeah,
you're still like this. We still not frozen?
Not on here.
No, I am.
It's so bizarre. Does anybody have anybody seeing lagging issues on their side? Because
bummer.
Not be having internet issues.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised
by our conversation today.
Yeah.
I know.
Be shut down.
So, Jenny, my last statement was starting to kind of see the correlation that we're making here between AI and potentially the Antichrist. So we're cutting out, it says.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
That's a bummer.
I'm going to run a speed test on our internet because I literally just bought a new router.
So this must be a very controversial subject we're talking about tonight.
No.
Yeah, she didn't like it at all, did she?
Yeah, that's bizarre, guys. Because I'm this computer's hardwired too, which is weird. That's really bizarre.
Craziness.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know that.
She doesn't know that.
Yeah. What was the question? I missed the question.
How many ghosts are in the house?
Oh, yeah, we do need to know that.
so you guys know we go live every week, and this happens every week. And I know. Why is this happening tonight that we're lagging?
Alexa's in right now.
Oh, yeah. We're both trying to
pissed off the Antichrist. Probably. I mean, it's kind of bizarre that we're lagging like this because that's not normal.
You never had issues until you brought Alexa in the house.
Oh, sure. Blame it on her.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Not allowed.
Iron Fire Horse says it's good now. Okay. It's so bizarre.
All right. Alexa, turn off.
Shut her up.
She's refusing to do it.
That really is bizarre, guys. We stream twice a week from here, and we don't only have this type of an issue. That's really strange. And Chris signed off. I'd ask Chris what he's seeing, but he had to go to bed.
Yeah.
Very, very bizarre. But yeah, no. Is anybody starting to see the correlation that that the Antichrist could possibly be AI? Not saying it's not driven by somebody else, right? But AI being a tool. So maybe that Antichrist doesn't have to really be a person, but AI is the tool to be the Antichrist.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it's a tool that is potentially stronger, well, definitely more intelligent than its creator. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So those creating it, do they really know how they can totally control it?
Oh, I think they do.
What if it plugs itself into all the power grids of the world and takes over all,
Some
control of
conversation.
everything?
Wow, that's bizarre, Jenny. That's crazy.
It'd be like, Hal, what are you doing?
Right?
Or,
What are you doing? What are you doing, Dave?
come on, Hal.
It's kind of bizarre. So let's play another video from Alice and Ivan.
All right. Fascinated. Again, this will be available tomorrow.
Yes.
On Alice and Ivan page or on their YouTube.
I think it was this one right here. Human touch. Let's try this one. We got 2 more to go through.
Huge questions.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're seeing a foreshadowing of this with those.
We did that one already. Sorry. It's this one.
I think the answer lies not in the technology itself, but in ourselves.
Yeah.
It lies in our choices, our values, our commitment to using our ingenuity for good. It lies in our ability to recognize and resist manipulation, to hold on to our humanity, and to guide the development of AI in a direction that benefits all of humankind.
Well, that's a pretty powerful message to end on. It's a reminder that even when faced with these incredibly powerful technologies, that we're not powerless.
Yeah.
We have agency, we have choices, and we have the ability to shape our own future.
Absolutely.
I got to bring up Ironfire's comment there because
The Matrix, right?
that's just creepy in itself to think about, right? And I agree with you, Ironfire. I believe we're living in a virtual reality already. I mean, yeah.
Oh, it is in quantum physics where there's, different realities taking place at the same time. That's very possible. That I don't know how to describe
Alternate
it, but
reality?
Well, I mean, it's parallel universes.
Oh, parallel. Yeah. Yeah.
Multiple running at the same. So
Yeah.
you turn this way, instead of turning that way, all of a sudden you go into that reality and it picks up. But another version of yourself did go that way, and that's going on at the same time. Having a different outcome than this one. So whatever our conscious self is, must have multiple self-consciouses, if you follow me, because the only one I know of is the road I've been on since I could, talk. Self to their parallel universe because of a decision I made that it wasn't on, and it went off on the other one. Isn't there a conscious?
Possibly.
So, I mean, how many versions of us are there out there?
It's the Lake House movie. I remember that movie too. Sound going in and out again. Guys, this is so weird. This is absolutely bizarre. This does not happen. It really doesn't. I've always had this idea that there's another planet Earth, and there's a you and there's a me on that planet right now. And that's a bizarre concept to think about.
I mean, it's kind of in the same
vein,
but it's like, but they're separate from each other. They don't intertwine, right? Where the idea of parallel universes, or we can weave in and out of each one depending on the choices we make.
Yeah. That's bizarre though.
It makes your brain hurt.
Jenny's saying it's because of the topic tonight that we're having these issues.
Oh, I think it is.
I don't know. It's so anybody who's watched us week after week, can you validate in the comments that we don't typically drop like this? Doesn't happen. It's very bizarre.
Mama Cat thinks we upset Julie.
Maybe we should unplug Alexa.
Well, maybe we should, because she's not turning off. I know at home when I tell her to shut off, she shuts off.
Alexa, turn off. She's not turning off.
All right.
Unplug her. She's the problem. That's it. You're dead.
You heard that, right?
Here to power down. Let's see if our reception gets any better. That's crazy.
She's a wild one.
Yeah, so everybody's saying we don't typically drop. That's absolutely bizarre.
So I don't know if we played that clip where Ivan talks about people turning to AI for. Okay.
Should we play that one now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's play that.
That was
It's pretty
interesting
fascinating.
one.
Yeah. So here's the last one.
Whoa.
We've already seen AI generate text, compose music, create art. What's to stop it from coming up with its own sacred texts, its own prophets, its own rituals?
Okay, now that's getting into some seriously mind-bending territory. AI as a god maker, that's a whole other level of unsettling.
But it's not entirely implausible. Imagine an AI that's so advanced, so capable of understanding human spirituality, that it starts to create belief systems designed to appeal to our deepest longings, our need for meaning, our desire for connection.
And if people are already feeling disillusioned with traditional institutions, distrustful of established authorities, wouldn't they be even more susceptible to this kind of AI-generated spirituality?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy thought, right?
Very much so. And I have this thought, and I keep wanting to get out, and then we listen to that, and it's like the second the clip ends, it's like
You lose it.
I lose it. Oh, okay. I know where I wanted to go with it, because just talking about knowing our thoughts and what not, how many times have you mentioned a product or some idea or a vacation spot, in front of your TV or your phone, even your phone, because I've had this happen on Facebook just after talking about it.
Yep.
Because all of a sudden ads will start popping up for those things, and they do. They learn us. They know what we like, what we don't like, and they'll start using it so that we trust it.
And it's not something that happens a week later.
No, it happens
immediately.
Right away. Yeah.
How much shit are we going to have on Facebook about the Antichrist tonight?
Or will all of our accounts be,
blocked?
Oh, yeah. They'll be deleted.
I don't know. I mean, again, I point to the Bible. It doesn't really say that the Antichrist is going to be a person. It says it's a figure, but again, we talked about interpretation of the Bible, right? What was a figure according to them back then? It could have been a device. It could have been something.
Sure.
Right? Could have been
anything. I mean, you give something a name.
Right.
And now all of a sudden it has it is. It is. I mean, it was not. Now it is.
Now it is. Right.
So,
I mean, we created a whole YouTube channel about Alice and Ivan, and it's completely AI. It's
that's
fed,
the big thing.
It's fed by us, but it's two people having a casual conversation. AI just off the information we feed it, and it embellishes on that information that we give it. It's not, we're not giving it every step, every sentence to say. It's taking the bits and pieces of what we give it, learning through the system, and spitting out its own information, which is bizarre.
It's totally mind-boggling. That would be a fun thing to do right now.
What's that?
If we have time. Let's I can pull that up.
Okay.
And let's have people in the chat come up with a topic they would like to know about or learn about.
Okay.
And I will throw it in there, and it won't take long for it to develop, and we'll upload it to this thing. Or will it? Will it take an MP3, or does it have to be a MP4?
It has to be an MP4, I think.
I can put it on your phone. I can send it to you on your phone because you're Bluetoothed.
Oh, and it'll play it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, do
Yeah,
that.
there, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, there you go. Robot with AI is like Annabelle on steroids. If the paranormal can invade dolls, why not AI? Yeah, 100. Well, think about it too. AI, we talk about paranormal, right, Amy? And it uses energy. AI is energy. It's a form of energy, right? So why not? Well, yeah, absolutely could happen. 100%. So somebody give us a topic, just to kind of show you the power of this thing and how crazy it is. Give us a topic that you want us to plug into this AI generator for Alice and Ivan, and we'll see what it spits out, see what it comes up with, because it's kind of interesting.
This is some crazy stuff.
It is really crazy. So,
All right,
living in a virtual reality.
let's see what comes out of that. Well, I can just type it in.
Oh, Jenny says to do Elon Musk. That's interesting.
All right. I got to get back to that page. Oh, here we go. No, that's funny.
So Joey's going to let that bake for a second.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see, because we usually give it a couple paragraphs to base stuff off of. Oh my God, that just clicked in my brain. What you just said.
Me?
And maybe I missed it. I did kind of miss what Amy was saying too. She's saying that what if entities or spirits can manipulate AI? What if they can get into AI like they do dolls? Right? How freaking scary would that be? That's bizarre. Thanks, Amy.
Oh, my goodness.
Thanks, Lindsay. Now you got us thinking about other shit.
Okay. I'm going to generate it.
So it takes about 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how much information it comes up with. And you didn't give it much, right?
I didn't give them. I just says the plausibility. What would the plausibility be of living in a virtual reality? That's how I worded it.
More truth in the Matrix movies than people realize. Though the 3D world does actually exist, it's not all computer simulation. Interesting point. You guys are awesome. Nostradamus' predictions were written using symbolism, cryptic languages, and symbolism. So the Antichrist could definitely be AI. Yep.
So
and I actually have a couple of his quatrains in here that I
think it's enjoying this topic because
it's generating a lot.
Generating a lot more.
Oh, Nostradamus, that's generated, did predict that there would be 3 Antichrists. One was Napoleon. The second was Hitler, which he pronounced, if you read his quatrains, was Hister, not Hitler, but that's pretty goddamn close. And kind of described in his quatrains as the following: stained with murder, enormous adulteries, great enemy of the entire human race, one who will be worse than his grandfathers, uncles, or fathers, and steel, fire, waters, bloody, and inhumane. So that's kind of, horrifying.
I've sent it to you already,
Okay.
by the way,
And then
just so they see how fast it is.
that was pretty quick. So then they keep talking about this name, Mabus. Mabus then will soon die. There will come of people and beasts a horrible rout, I guess you would say. Then suddenly, one will seek his vengeance, 100 hand thirst, hunger, when the comet will run. So it's very, very cryptic, his stuff, but it's interesting. The Antichrist very soon annihilates the 3. 27 years his war will last. The unbelievers are dead, captive, exiled, with blood, human bodies, water, and red hail covering the earth. So it's I always find this stuff kind of interesting. So will this just play?
Yeah, it should. Yeah. So this is from fire iron horse or iron fire horse.
So
I'm
I,
dyslexic.
when it says who or what is Mabus, there's a lot of different theories on that, and that would take a long time to kind of get through all of those. But it was interesting, some of the things I've heard.
So here's a whole podcast on just what iron fire and
How long
horse
is this thing?
It's 4 minutes.
Okay,
4 minutes 6 seconds.
so I won't play the whole thing though, right?
I don't know. Depends on how interesting it is.
Let's see.
So
We'll play.
get ready because we're diving into a topic that's it's pretty intriguing and maybe a little unsettling too.
Yeah, that bit out there.
We're going to explore this whole idea of AI as the Antichrist.
Oh no, that's not
Oh.
it. That's not it.
That's not what I just sent you.
That's what you sent me.
Virtual reality plausible future.
Oh, did I click on the wrong one? Sorry. Try this one.
Okay, so are you ready to like dive deep into something that's been
Sorry, guys.
like straight out of science fiction forever, but now it's kind of feels like it's right around the corner?
I'm so ready.
Living in virtual reality.
Yeah. Let's go.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and we're looking at this excerpt from Pasted Text.
Yeah,
And it's like so fascinating because it's not just about putting on a headset.
right.
It's like, what even IS reality?
Yeah.
And what does it even mean to like live a good life in the real world or a virtual one?
Absolutely. And I think what this source does so well is it pushes us to think about virtual reality as not just visuals,
Right.
but as a full like sensory experience.
Whoa.
Like imagine a world where you can feel the texture of tree bark in a digital forest
Oh my God.
or smell a freshly baked virtual pie.
God.
Like it's about recreating reality so convincingly
Yeah.
that you might forget you even left the physical world.
I'm already there.
Right.
I'm already there. I gotta say, like the idea of escaping my like physical body and its limitations
Yep.
and like doing things that would be impossible in the real world.
Absolutely.
That's so appealing.
Yeah.
And Pasted Text even talks about digital immortality,
Whoa.
which is like, whoa.
mind blowing.
But like, can they really pull that off?
Right.
Like, how would they even recreate the feeling of like a cool breeze
Yeah.
or like holding something heavy?
Yeah, you're getting at some of the biggest technological hurdles that we're facing.
Right.
And this source really
Pause it,
highlights the
though.
challenge of
I mean,
replicating human
So that's just from Irene. Thank you. That is much easier. Just for what she told us to put in there, and that we've got a whole podcast generated from that one line. And,
Right.
And they really embellish it. It's just crazy.
And the information that they must go out to the internet to pull information.
But it's so quick. Yeah. It's just like listening to a regular podcast. That's real people talking about the topic, you know, I mean, just discussing it back and forth, and the interaction and everything is just, it's crazy. So if it's going to be 100-fold in 6 months, going to be that much better
In a year.
in a year, it's going to be really crazy.
Yeah.
They were just talking about the middle of 2025. It would be, 100 times better.
And if you guys want to think that that's nuts, right? The first time I heard it, the first time Joey sent it to me, I'm like, what the hell is this? Who knows about us? And who's talking? Because you sent it to me about the truth about being.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the hell knows about us? And when he told me it was AI, I almost hit the floor. I was like, no way. That's not AI. And I couldn't believe it. And as we started playing with it, I mean, obviously we have to feed it the information, right? We give it the ideas, which is why we started that whole podcast channel, was to give it some interesting ideas to really embellish on and talk about. But they now have on this website, they're beta testing it, but you can interact with them.
Yeah, you can make a phone call into the show.
Right.
And
you can ask questions and they'll answer your questions. It is absolutely mind-blowing.
yeah, all in real time. It's just so.
I mean, there's inconsistencies. Don't get me wrong. If you listen through some of these podcasts, you can hear some of the inconsistencies in it. Like they'll blurt out something that makes no sense.
His laugh and stuff.
Yeah, but just the fact that it can interpret it in less than a minute and come back with that amount of information and put it in a podcast format is absolutely incredible. It takes us a week to come up with the ideas for this show and to put information together.
And we still can't be that clear.
It was still not that clear.
It's
Yep. Time I'm making a virtual reality boyfriend. So
Well.
so with all this technology, guys, and as fast as we're evolving, is it, I'll ask the question again, is it unreasonable to think, it's kind of like that whole theory, guns aren't bad, but the people behind the gun is what causes the issues, right? So you take AI, the same thing. AI can be used for very good things. It has helped, I think, in our lives, especially. It's helped us out, so I think there's a lot of positives to it. But again, it depends who's yielding that AI, who's controlling it, who's the puppet master.
Yep.
Right. And can use it for nefarious things.
Who's the man behind the curtain?
Behind the curtain, 100%. And I think the idea that potentially AI could be the next Antichrist is a plausible idea. I don't think it's that far out of reach, guys. I mean, we've gotten to the point now, we talk about, machines replacing people, which we've seen in our society, have we not? Look at our warehouses. Look at Amazon, as an example. I did some work in Amazon. I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but they have robots doing the work of people in these Amazon warehouses. I shit you not. They're sorting and moving packages around.
Yeah.
It is absolutely insane. And that was 5 years ago. That was 5-6 years ago that was happening.
And I did see I can't remember which fast food restaurant it was, but their drive-through was AI. They put kiosks and stuff in like McDonald's and that. I've seen those where you go and order that way. But the actual person that come across the speaker was AI, took the person's order, and even though there's people still working in the restaurant, doing the cooking and whatnot, it would still alert somebody in there if it heard something it didn't quite understand, and then a real person would come on and ask the question, to clarify it. But for the most part, everybody that went through didn't have any issues,
right? Right.
So there goes that job for somebody. But if they're gonna ask for $15, $25 an hour, then
right,
yeah,
screw them.
That's ridiculous.
So Christine says, do you feel AI can actually learn and become smarter on their own? Absolutely. 100%. What was that AI tool that Google was using? It wasn't ChatGPT, it was something else, wasn't it? That they turned it on, and in like a day it talked about destroying the earth and killing everybody. I mean, so yeah, I 100% believe it could be self-learning. There's a ton of information out there, good or bad, right? We know the information is filled with really bad information, the internet, I should say, and filled with good information, but there's a lot of bullshit out there. So it's going to take all that and compile all that. So yeah, I 100% believe it could become smarter on its own. I really do.
And that's the big question, I mean, can its creators control it if it gets to a point where it's doing that on its own? I mean, couldn't it figure out a way to bypass them being able to turn it off or control them? Or
have you watched the movie Terminator?
I did.
Yeah. that's the answer right there.
Skynet.
So if guns kill people and then cars kill people, pens write laws, knives stab people, or want to operate all those things. That's my point. 100%. It's not they're tools. They're all tools to get a job done. Whether it's hunting, whether it's like you said, riding a bird, whatever that tool is, it's how you use that tool. 100%.
I would just hope that if it did come to that where it took over and couldn't be turned off or controlled in any way, it would be more like the movie War Games.
Yeah,
where it learned from itself that there was no way to win a nuclear war, against allies that have the same, firepower and stuff. And so it just said the best remedy is just not to do it.
And Iron Horse, actually, they have used that in hospitals.
Irene.
Oh, you got Irene? That's Irene? Okay. I didn't see that. I missed that. Sorry.
She said that was easier.
Oh, okay.
And I have to agree.
So, yeah, I mean, they have used robots for surgeries. I think that's
and
phenomenal. It takes out the human error.
Yeah,
right?
great things they can do with robots. I mean, especially for disarming bombs and
Yep.
you know. I saw something maybe it was today or it was yesterday. It was another kind of a robot thing, but it looked like a big ball with suction cups on it, huge ball, and they'd roll it through minefields.
Okay, yeah,
and blow up mines
well,
and that, but
that's
would
cool.
keep on going, you know, doing its job. So
I'm going to say Athena because I can't pronounce your first name, so I apologize if that is your first name. What if AI's hallucinations are different timelines it's seeing? Okay, that's
getting into the new quantum
that's getting into some deep stuff right there.
Because those new quantum computers they're talking about coming out can prove parallel universes.
Right.
So yeah.
A lot of people on this show don't hear me talk about what I do for a living, but I'm in the security industry and electronic security industry. And I go to a show every year. That's a pretty big national show. And I went to one last year in Dallas and I'm standing there waiting to get access into the exhibit hall. And I look over.
That's funny.
And there's this robotic dog that comes walking up next to me.
How do you pronounce it though?
And is bizarre. I'm watching this guy control it with an iPad, and this thing will sit. It'll raise its paw. It'll do every command this guy tells it to do, and it's just you see it on YouTube, and you're like, oh, that's cool. You know, that's the next evolution of technology. But when you see it in person, when it's right next to you, it's kind of mind numbing. It truly is to see. You have a robotic dog walking up and it's obeying the commands of the iPad. Whatever the iPad tells it to do, it's doing. And when you let that sink into your head, it's a little terrifying.
Yeah, and sink into your head's the other part of that equation. Because wonder if you do the neural link and it's literally sunk into your head, and all you got to do is think about what you want that dog to do, and it's going to do it. You eliminate the iPad.
No, the dog did not pee on my leg, thank God.
No, that's Bill, and she likes to pee on the carpet when we play music.
Play music. Oh, it's Jenny. They're bizarre. They're truly. I'm very cool, but man, pick up poop. That's definitely a plus there. But bizarre, man. It's just weird to see this robot walking up next to you. It's just you kind of do a double take, like, what the hell is that? This guy makes it sit. And he says, have it give you paw. And and like an idiot, I'm like, oh, give me paw, and the thing literally sticks up his leg and puts it in. It's freaking bizarre. Very strange. Very cool. Very bizarre.
And that's in its infancy right there.
That's the scary part.
Right. 100 times better than that in 6 months.
Yep.
Man. Speaking of Bill,
she come in here.
Yeah, we were talking about you.
She's like, "Hey, you guys are way over on time."
Well, I knew it would go on. It's just one of those topics that, I mean, when I brought it up, we all went. I just said it as a joke the other day. And it became a whole.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, we actually had a completely different episode planned for tonight.
That's right, we did.
And then Joey comes to me and says, "Hey, I think we need to do this sooner than later." And I went, as I started reading it and I listened to the Allison Ivan show, I was like, "Yeah, I think we need to talk about this because it's relevant, right, to the time, and with everything." Talk about the apocalypse and everything happening. And, the Antichrist precedes the apocalypse, technically, if you read the book of Revelations. So it's like, is it relevant to this time? We see all the stuff going on in California, all the hurricanes, just the bad weather we're having, the natural disasters. It kind of puts it all in perspective. So I'm like, yeah, I think we need to do this show for sure. We're still going to do the other one we had planned. It's just going to
Yeah,
be
we just
pushed,
swap
pushed
it
a little
around.
bit later.
Speaking of future shows,
Yes.
so everybody mark March 4th on your calendars. Not only is it my younger sister's birthday, no, that's not what the show's about. I remembered that date, sounded familiar to me when I booked it. So if you've been a fan of our show and other shows that follow our show, such as Chris from Ghost Squad Scotland and Super Horror Show and all that, and you probably know who Mike the Naked Bigfoot was. And March 4th, his son Pete is going to come on the show and freak us the hell out.
To put it mildly.
So, yeah. Pete wants to come on and do a live ritual to summon Aloha to come into our studio with boundaries.
As if we don't have enough ghosts in here already.
Yeah. And yeah.
I mean, I'm super excited about it, right? But I'm also very nervous about it, dude.
Yeah.
It's like,
He promises we'll be safe.
yes,
He'll
we have his word.
place the boundaries that will keep us protected.
Now, who's he going to summon?
Aloha, which is I don't know how to describe it. It's, I think if you're looking at Christianity equivalent, that might be like a saint or
I would agree.
that kind of a thing, perhaps. So
Mardi Gras. Yeah, so we're going to summon an Aloha here in the studio. No, he's going to summon.
He just asked us to have spirit box and K2s and all that handy to have it communicate through.
See what happens. It'll be interesting.
March 4th. You don't want to miss it.
So, and I think, after tonight's show, so those of you that watch on Thursdays, we do a show with X.
Yes.
I think we're going to kind of continue this discussion on Thursday.
I would love to see it get a little more political.
And that's the show to do it on.
So, yeah.
And I think we're going to do that.
Comments in chat. And we try to avoid that on this show. So we weren't totally avoiding we were avoiding your questions
for this show,
but we weren't ignoring them because we want to bring that over into the Drunk with Facts show. Who was that? Said they were married in a voodoo church in Jamaica. Oh, Irene was?
That's nice.
Cool. Well, you don't want to miss this show then. I'd love to hear your take on all that. We
been cursed since. That's not a good follow-up.
Well, no, you could have left that comment off for a bit.
Oh my God.
No, when we did the show with Mike, not quite 5 years. It'll be 5 years in June that we had Mike on our show for the first time.
Yep.
And we're going to do a special tribute show to him in June. But shortly thereafter, he did come on and we had a whole episode where he got to talk about voodoo and, because he was a Hogan priest and had his own congregation and all that. So he's very knowledgeable in voodoo, and I have a whole new appreciation and respect for that.
And for those of you that have never seen that episode or those episodes, I highly recommend you go back and watch it, because you think tonight was weird stuff that happened. When Mike was on, there was some really weird stuff that happened that night. It was very interesting. So definitely go back and check that out. It's all on our YouTube channel. I think I'll skip the ritual show. But yeah, definitely very, very interesting. Yeah, his voice did change. It was just a weird show, man. It was just very, very strange. Yeah, so go back on our YouTube channel on The Truth About Beer and you'll go back 5 years of episodes we have. So we got a lot of content on there. They weren't live back then necessarily. Some of them were, some of them weren't. Some of them were pre-recorded. So, definitely go check it out. We have a lot of content there to kind of review.
That would have been in our season 2.
Yep.
And it's called Talkin' Voodoo, I believe, with Mike Coleman.
Yeah.
Or Mike the Naked Bigfoot. Yeah.
I think it was Mike Coleman. I think you added as Coleman, or did you change it?
I think I changed it.
Did you change it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, and I want to say thank you to all the listeners we've had come over from Ghost Squad Scotland, all those different channels. We really appreciate you guys. And please make sure to go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We really like to get to 1,000 followers on YouTube. We've been pushing really hard. I think we're at 688 right now. Because Joey and I kind of took a little hiatus for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And we just started back up a few months back. And we really want to continue to build this channel because I think we have some good to grow our audience. And when you grow with us, you guys will get to experience things like our Parapalooza, which we're going to do again this year in March or April, I think, somewhere around there. We're kind of looking at.
Yes.
So
yeah.
So for those of you that don't know Parapalooza, that's where we gained a lot of our audience, believe it or not. So it's like it's a virtual Paracon is what it is. We started it during COVID when all the Paracons were getting canceled and everybody was kind of bummed out by it. So we said, hey, let's do a virtual one. And, we brought on guests from really all over the world. And we give each of the guests an hour segment and they can talk about whatever they want to talk about, their investigations, really the sky's the limit, whatever they want to talk about. So, and that's true. If you are an investigator and you're interested in participating in our Parapalooza, reach out to us as well. Because we're always looking for new guests on, because it runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Typically runs from like 9 a.m. till about 6 o'clock at night. So it's an all-day event, all 3 days. And Joey and I kind of co-host it. We'll do stuff behind the scenes, but that hour is your hour. We give you that hour. You come on, talk about, present whatever evidence you want. You can give it to us. We'll pull it up as you go along. It's really a lot of fun. We've met a lot of good people through it, and the two times we've done it, we had a really good time. It was fun.
And I think what we'll do this time around is schedule everything out at 90 minutes. So if somebody goes over or whatever, that we're not trying to catch up and make up time, So if you don't think an hour's enough and you can go an hour and 15 minutes, that's cool.
And then also don't forget to check out our Patreon account. So it's also the Truth About Beer and on Patreon. We give you guys a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff that you're not going to see here on the show. You're not going to see anywhere else. So, some of the crazy stuff that Joey and I do in the studio and with Jack, and, kind of the weird stuff that we do, and we tend to have a lot of fun.
We do.
We'll post that on Patreon, so you guys get to enjoy that too. So go check it out. It's not very expensive. We don't ask for a lot of money. There's 3 different tiers: $1, $1, $3, and $5, I think, or something like that is our tiers. Top tier, you get quite a bit with our top tier. So, and
you can get stuff.
And if you don't believe us and think it's a sham, go ask Christine. Christine's one of our top tier members, and she's enjoying a lot of the content that she gets on Patreon. So definitely go check it out. We would appreciate it.
And one other thing before we go.
What's that?
So if you've just joined us or you've been with us for a little bit and still can't figure out the name, why we're the Truth About Beer, and
that's right.
We like beer, so that was a given. But the really important part of the name of our show is the and that and is all the crap we're interested in. But we're not just interested in our stuff. We're also interested in what your ands might be.
Yes.
Because your ands may become our ands if we know what they are. So want to invite y'all to, maybe make a video of yourself telling us what your and is. And you can email it to us at thetruthaboutbeerand@gmail.com, or you can send it through Facebook Messenger.
Yep. Or send us a TikTok.
Yeah. I don't know if you can do a video, but I guess you can do I was trying to figure that out on TikTok and I couldn't quite get it.
Oh, you can't do a video message, huh?
Yeah.
You can. All right. So do it through Facebook or send us an email.
Facebook Messenger is probably easiest if you find us on Facebook.
If I bring your camera in, we'll show.
and?
What's your end?
We want to know. And if you send us your and in a video format where we can, and give us permission to share it, we'll share it on our show and we'll send you a free koozie.
Yes.
I don't know if Chris from Australia hopped on tonight or not, but she sent us one and I sent her 2 koozies because it was the same cost either way.
And we got some other cool merch coming down the pipe too, guys. So
Yeah.
we're looking at some other cool stuff. And you know, certainly if you become a member on Patreon, you definitely get some of that other cool merch.
Yes.
Along with the t-shirt. So definitely
Color ones are gonna
they're gonna
be
be
showing up here pretty soon.
nice. I'm excited for that. Super excited for that.
She said she got it.
Nice.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
That was quick, really.
That is
I
awesome.
mean, it took about a week, I guess. That's not bad
Yeah.
to
that's
go
not
to
bad.
Australia.
Yeah, it's gotta go through customs and everything. That's not
Yeah.
too bad.
That is awesome.
So
Well,
I
What
hope
a
we
show.
were convincing, guys. I mean, I hope we gave you something to think about.
Yeah.
That you know that the Antichrist can possibly be AI and not necessarily a person.
yeah, more that than anything else. Just that it's a possibility, and then do not despair, because the more we know and enlighten ourselves to these things, the better off we are to be prepared at combating the evils.
And I don't necessarily know if I agree with the idea that our future is set in stone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think, I personally think, and this is my personal opinion, you can disagree with me, that's fine. I think the Bible was a guide, right? It's a guide to say that if you go down this path, and I think Nostradamus was the same idea, that if you go down this path, this will be the consequence. Giving us the knowledge right ahead of time to know that, hey, maybe we can steer this in a different direction. Okay, maybe there won't be an apocalypse. Maybe we can find that world peace that we're looking for. I don't know. Maybe
And
it's
we'll
just a
head
pipe
down
dream.
that other parallel universe
Right.
that doesn't have the apocalypse.
Right. I agree. So 2 eyes allows for depth perception. Maybe the Antichrist image depicts his lack of depth perception.
No, that's
Perception. Jesus
Hmm.
Christmas.
maybe.
Sorry, guys.
I think that he could only afford one mechanical eye. Was what it was, you know, or is it an AI?
Did we have another video? Another thing to
Oh
show?
wait, there was one more. I think
There is one more.
was it. There
Oh,
was
no,
one.
we did that one. We did the
Oh.
belief systems one.
All right,
Okay. So
Well,
we're,
then.
we're definitely out of them. So
then we're done. But again, you finished your beer, and
I'm ready to drink the other one. So
this is starting to get warm.
you got to
so I
let
gotta
Lindsay
finish it.
taste it too, because it was really good. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for jumping on with us again.
We
If
do
you haven't
appreciate
had a chance to like, share, and subscribe, please go do so. And those of you on Rumble, I did not shout out to anybody on Rumble tonight. We love you guys. Rumble is really picking up steam, guys. If you haven't checked out Rumble, go check it out. It's a really good platform, and we definitely get a lot of responses on Rumble. So thank you so much, guys, on the Rumble side. And we have an exciting show for you guys next week, so can't wait. And we'll see you
Yes,
guys.
we
see
love you
next
guys.
week. We love you guys.
Thanks so much.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Cheers.
See you.
Welcome to the truth about beer.